Hello, good day everyone. Sir Kevin Nelson Asuncion here, your teacher for good governance and social responsibility. And today we'll be discussing about ethics and business. But before we go through our lesson, let's just run down our outline for our objectives. First is you're able to know the meaning of ethics and its importance in our lives, and also the importance of ethics in business. Let's go through our lesson, and I would like to ask you first, do you do good things without anyone noticing you? Uh, let us take a look at this quotation from Plato. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act justly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. No, ibig sabihin, ang isang mabuting tao hindi kailangan ng batas. No? Even if no one is noticing you. That's in fact what we call integrity. No? That's even without people watching you, you are still doing those things. No? Even without those laws. No? Okay, let's run through what is ethics. Ethics refers not only to an academic discipline but to that arena of human life studied by this academic discipline, namely how human beings should properly live their lives. And at its most basic level, ethics is concerned with how we act and how we live our lives. The question is, now, how do you live your life? No? That's ethics. And how do you suppose to live your life? No? There are different standards from people na oh, you should live like this, you should do this and so on. But what is the right way? No? Do you believe that on the saying or in that phrase YOLO, or you only live once? No? I think you are a fan of that phrase, and I think you're living your life to the fullest, and that is supposed to be, no? So ethics involves what is perhaps most monumental questions: how we should live, no? Live your life to the fullest. You only live once, so that's the way you should live. Spend it worthwhile. Ethics is in the sense practical, having to do with how we act, choose, behave, and do things. But you just don't live, no? Kailangan uh, mamuhay tayo ng tama, no? It's not just decide everything that you want, but also, no, do good things because of your decision. Ibig sabihin, pag nagdesisyon ka, dapat nakakabuti. No? Not just spending and wasting your time on nothing. No? Or even doing bad things. No? That's not life supposed to be according to ethics. No? So, how we should live is, in the first sense, this is a question about how I should live my life and how should I act, what should I do, and what kind of person should be. No? Ano ba tingin ng tao sa akin? No? Many of you will tell, uy, wala akong pakialam sa kanila. No? Hindi they doesn't affect me. But let me tell you this truth, no? Everyone is a social being. We depend on each other. Let's go back in the meaning of what is an ecosystem. Ecosystem is a group of interrelated living organisms, no? So ibig sabihin, they are interdependently needing some other living organisms. That's what ecosystem is, no? That's our environment is. And as part of a living being, or is a human being, no, as part of that ecosystem, we are interdependent with other organisms as well as people, no? So let's talk about this, that at some point in your life you thought about, oy, their opinion doesn't matter. The way they look at you doesn't matter. At some point in some context, yes, that's true. But let me tell you this: there are part of your character, or sorry, there are part of your identity that you did not know. According to the Johari's window, there are four quadrants or four sides of your being or your personality, no? In fact, two of them, two of those sides ay yun lang yung alam mo. But the two other sides ay hindi mo alam. So let me tell you this. There are things that you don't know about yourself, but others notice about you. Others notice about you. Okay? Ibig sabihin, according to Johannes Window, it's called the bad breath area. So, the question now, do others' opinion matters? The answer is yes. No? Ibig sabihin, pwede itong humulma. Ang question lang dyan is how do you handle criticisms? No? Do you make them constructive for yourself to improve and to do what is good and what is right? No? That's the always question, no? For you to improve, you must be corrected, no? At some point we don't know what is right. That's why we continue ourselves knowing that, "Uy, this is right," no? But to tell you honestly, most of the things na nakakapagpag-grow sa atin, to learn new things, is by committing mistakes and telling others telling us that we made a mistake, no? So other opinions matters, no? So this meaning of ethics sometimes referred us to a morality, and it is an aspect of ethics that we refer by the phrase personal integrity, no? That leads us to an idea that we rely in each other. We are dependent with each other, no? That's why we are responsible with each other. According nga sa isang kanta, lahat tayo may pananagutan sa isa't isa, no? Ibig sabihin, there's a certain part of our morality that shows responsibility not just with us, but our responsibility to others, no? So ethics value and put that standards that you just not just doing what is good for you, but also good for others. Okay? So that leads us to the idea of business ethics. How it is important to a business? Why is ethics important to a business? No? Okay. So ethics is important into business. Please remember the meaning of an organization, no? An organization is a group of people working together towards one goal, no? Ibig sabihin is a group of people. It's made composed of people, no? And a business enterprise in accounting and finance and even other business books is called is considered as an artificial being. May buhay siya. Therefore, no? Ang isang business may buhay nakadepende sa ibang tao. Nakadepende sa taong nakapaligid sa kanya. And even the meaning of marketing is an art and process of managing and mutually exchange relationship between the consumers and the marketer. So marketers get the profit and the customers get the satisfaction of those goods and services delivered to them, no? So at the end of it, businesses are relying with these people, your customers and the employees and the stakeholders, the government, no? Because they are part of that environment. It's part of the ecosystem. A business won't exist without people, no? So that's why business is ethics in business is important. It's a collective values of business organization that can be used to evaluate whether the behaviors of the organization's collective members are considered acceptable and appropriate. It's a process of responsible decision making. Earlier, I mentioned the YOLO. YOLO, that's you only live once. But come to ponder to it, think about this, please. Is it right to tell YOLO that your decisions are not based on things that can be responsible? No? Kasi you may decide for yourself. That's YOLO. I will live my life. But how about you only die once? YOLO. You only die once. When we think about it, if you only die once, You will spend your life making the best decisions of your from yourself. Uh, you only die once. You make more and matured and responsible decision making. No? So you get to make better decisions because you're guided by the responsibility that the your life is not just for you. Let me tell you this quotation. This is my favorite quotation. Quotation for my life motto. The reason why you wake up each day is not just you need it, but someone needs you. I will repeat it. The reason why you wake up each day is not just you need it, but someone needs you. Ang dahilan bakit ka bumabangon kapag umaga ay hindi lang para sa sarili mo, kundi para sa ibang tao. 'Di ba? In fact, yun nga yung ano ng Nescafe, para kanino ka bumabangon. I'll tell you, your dreams are not just for you, 'di ba? You want to be successful in life because you have family to feed. You have family that meron ka magandang pangarap. 'Di ba? Gusto mo silang iahon sa hirap and some other dreams, no? The reason why you wake up each day is not just you need it, but someone needs you. Same is true with business, no? The very existence why bakit nandyan sila ay first, kailangan nila yung tao, kailangan ng tao yung serbisyo nila at produkto nila, at kailangan sila ng tao, no? Not just the customers but also the employees that are working there, and also the entrepreneurs that owns that business, no? So that's the nature. When ethics fail, the business will fail. Why? You're not considering, no? You're not considering other people, no? Okay? So, who are those people? Those are what we call the stakeholders. Magkaiba to sa stockholders. Stockholder means yung may-ari, which is the owners of a corporation. So they have that shares of stocks. But stakeholders means generally all of the other people outside the organization and even the organizations that may be related into the decision making. Stakeholder theory is a model of corporate social responsibility that holds the business managers have ethical responsibility to this more broad range of stakeholders as opposed to a more narrow view that the primary responsibility of managers limited to stockholders. Ang responsibilidad ng isang negosyo hindi lang para sa mga investors niya, kundi para din sa ibang tao. Remember, the purpose of your business. Now, so are those stakeholders? Stakeholders internal are your employees or managers, the entrepreneurs inside the organizations. We have the external stakeholders. Stockholders or your investors, your customers, creditors, so pinagkakautangan, your suppliers, no? Kung sino nagsusupply sa'yo, and your distributors, your wholesalers and retailers. And even the government can be considered as a stakeholder, no? Yan, the government, communities outside, the media that shares information about your company, what is happening with your company, and even your competitors are external stakeholders, sorry. Stakeholders, for better or for worse, the decisions made within a business firm will affect many more people than only the individual, his or herself. No, ibig sabihin, when you make decisions, hindi lang naman ikaw ang affected. Take for example, according to one principle in science, no? When what's this for every action there's always equal and opposite reaction, no? Because it's a ripple effect. When you decide for something, there will be people affected. That's the role of a manager there. He or she must make an ethical and responsible decisions that can make it both win-win, not just in favor of the company, no? Ethically responsible business decision making, therefore, must move beyond a narrow concern with stockholders and consider the impact of decisions will have a wide range of stakeholders. No? In fact, the media can show that to the public that hey, this business doesn't think about its employees, no? So your business will be affected, especially the marketing and advertising, your brand, no? In a general sense, a business stakeholder will be anyone affected, for better or for worse, by decision made within the firm. That's what I'm talking about earlier, no? Now, why companies need to care about ethics? It's unethical behaviors create financial and marketing crises. That's one. In fact, sabi ko nga, pag meron kang ginawang decision at merong nalugi sa mga stakeholders o merong agrabyado sa mga stakeholders, no, that's a marketing risk and in fact may lead to a financial risk, no? A company can go out of business and its employees can go to jail if no one is paying attention to the ethical standard of the firm. Yun, you need to take consideration of the ethical standards. No? And a firm's ethical reputation can provide a competitive advantage or disadvantage. No? Look at this. If you have good reputation, you have an ethical reputation, you treat your employees well, you treat your customer well, your suppliers, that's a good marketing. Marketing activity or even marketing agenda that hey, they love it here, no? If you're a company that your employees stays for long period of time, therefore your employees are happy, no? And that's also an asset to the company, no? Managing ethically can also pay significant dividends in organizational structure and efficiency. Again, when they're happy and the people in the environment are happy, no? Of course, there's an efficiency. That's according to a study about the organizational motivation. No? That's employee rewards and recognition. No? That even intrinsic and extrinsic motivation of your employees, that what makes them be productive and efficient in their job, no? Trust, loyalty, commitment, creativity, and initiative are just some of the organizational benefits that are more likely flourish within ethically stable and credible organization. So yun, no? So mas pagtitiwalaan ka, no? Mas paniniwalaan ka ng ibang tao, no? So, take a look at this list that bakit kailangan natin maging mabuti even in business. So, to avoid litigations or lawsuits, regulatory freedom. So, malaya kang makakapag-operate because you are not disobeying the law. Public acceptance, ayan, matatanggap ka ng public. Investor confidence because you're doing what is right and what is good. No? Supplier and partner trust. Customer loyalty because alam nila that you're doing good. Employee performance, the personal pride, and of course, lastly and the most important thing, because that is right. Okay? So, please remember these 7 guiding principles to support in ethical action. That these principles give justice to your ethical actions. No? Number 1 is fidelity, reparation, gratitude, justice, beneficence, and self-improvement, and non-injury. Fidelity is an individual needs to keep explicit and implicit promises. Ibig sabihin, the faithfulness that you'll be doing always what is acceptable, what is right, and what is good. Reparation, an individual must act on repairing the consequence for previous wrongful acts. Ibig sabihin nito, you are trying to correct what is wrong in the past. Number 3 is gratitude. An individual must be able to show gratitude for the kindness that others have given to him or her. Sa Tagalog, ito ay utang na loob, no? Or in principle, no? Kadalasan kapag ang tao binigyan mo ng pabor, they will give favors for you no? Pagdating ng panahon. No? That's gratitude, no? If you do good, that's the law of karma, no? If you do good, good things will go back to you, or good things din ay bibigay sa'yo. Number 4 is justice. An individual should try to see that any good are fairly distributed. So not just good, but for the common good. Merong hindi good para sa kanila yun because they have personal interest. So doon tayo sa common good, or the greatest good. No? Beneficence is an individual should focus on trying to improve the lives of others. No? That we have social and moral responsibility, that we have to uplift other people. Tulad ng slogan ng MQC, to transform lives. No? So to improve things in your life. And self-improvement, individual should improve oneself by focusing on the virtue and intelligence. No? Yun nga, about the criticism earlier, it should be constructive, that you are telling that paano niya naman malalaman at may isip sa sarili niya meron siyang mali. 'Di ba? Sabi ng iba, less talk, less mistake. No? But to that context, baka hindi applicable yun, because paano niya malalaman? Siguro mas maganda sabihin natin, let's talk, less mistake. Let's talk, less mistake. Pag-usapan natin, sabihin natin, be honest. No? Yun nga lang, with the polite manner, baka mag-away kayo. No? So with a polite and very cordial manner, that you tell what is parang may mali sa kanya. No? Sana hindi niya masamain. And last is non-injury. An individual should not cause any harm to others. That your decision-making, ethical decision-making, should not injure or affect negatively other people. No? Okay. So, what is personal responsibility versus social responsibility? There will be many times within a business setting where an individual will need to step back and ask, what should I do? And how should I act? I know in the introduction I've mentioned that what do we need to do? At some point, it's very, very critical that you stop and think about it. No? What is right? Not just for you, but for all the people around you. No? In the second sense, how should we live? Refers to we live together in a community. Again, we are in the environment, in the ecosystem. No? How should we live? No? We should be in harmonious relationship with each other. Just think about it, that how could we live without farmers? No? If they are not considered. No? How can we live without teachers? How can we live without lawyers and the likes? No? Again, we have roles to fill in. No? In this sense, business ethics is concerned with how business institution ought to be structured, about the corporate social responsibility, about making decisions that will impact many people other than individual decision makers. So it's not just your personal responsibility na sa'yo lang, but also for the benefit of the many. Kasi nga, you are an artificial being. Business is an artificial being that has role in the society. No? Businesses are not just merely there for to do that business, but also that business is catering the needs and the wants of people. No? Kanya nga meron siyang social responsibility. And aside from doing that, you should be doing that for the benefit of the many. No? This aspect of business ethics asks us to examine business institution from a social rather than an individual perspective. How do these decisions affect group of people? Your employee, your suppliers, your customers, the government, the media. No? We refer to the broader social aspects of ethics as decision-making for social responsibility. No? So, let's go now to what is the meaning of values. That those beliefs that incline us to act or to choose in one way other than the other. No? Values is what you value of. Ano yung importante sa'yo. No? So a company's core values, for examples, are those beliefs and principles that provide ultimate guide in its decision making. For example, let's talk about Meredith Queen College. No? uh, MQC is kasali sa mga values niya is respect, humility, accountability as part of that transformation of lives. No? Doon nakabase yung mga decision making niya. No? So, individuals can have their own personal values and importantly, institutions also have their own values. No? But on a business, you try to incorporate that to your employees, no? Para isa lang yung sagwan. Ibig sabihin sabay-sabay yung sagwan, no? Because employees have different values compared compared to that values that the company have. So, kailangan they are into that value system inside the organization. No? So, alibawa, maganda yung core values ng kumpanya pero hindi mo mapigilan yung isang empleyado mo na kumuha ng mga supplies, mag-uwi, and so on. So, kailangan nasa policies yun based on the guiding principles or your values to establish the ethical norm inside the organization. Huh? So now, ethics is part of a practical reasoning about what we should do as opposed to theoretical reason, which is reasoning about what we should believe. Theoretical reason is the pursuit of truth, which is the highest standard for what we should believe. No? So, practical reason, ibig sabihin, during that situation, you know what we should do. No? Not just what you believe. Naniniwala ako sa ganyan. No? Madalas ganito yung nangyayari. Ay, hindi, kasi tingin ko ganito. No. Kadalasan sinasabi ng mga managers because they are guided by the principles, with the values, with the ethical standards that dapat ganyan na ginawa mo. No? Where's the values, no? The values that is present na ini-instill sa company, and yun nga. So, that's what is expected as part of the ethics. Kanya nga minsan, no, pag sumasagot ka sa magulang, pinapagalitan ka, no? Pag naman di ka sumasagot, ba't hindi ka makasagot, no? We, as part of our acceptable social norms in the Philippines, no, we should pay respect and pakinggan yung mga nakakatanda. So, we should not just sumagot ka, we believe na mapakinggan tayo. But minsan nagagawa nating hindi na sumagot because we are reasoning it in what we should do. Mapakinggan muna sila. No? At syempre kapag nawala na yung galit, doon na lang kayo mag-usap. That's actually the most ethical thing to do. No? Not just putting fuel to the flame, kumbaga. No? And there are guidelines that can provide direction and criteria for decisions that are more or less responsible and reasonable. That's what we call the philosophical ethics. Ethical theories are patterns of thinking or methodologies to help us decide what to do. No, ibig sabihin what is acceptable, what is good for them, and so on. Kanya nga, yun yung magiging basehan mo to make decisions. That's how ethics is important to a business. Okay? With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening with our discussion, and I hope to see you on to the next one. Thank you very much.